a desolate wilderness, where as far as the eye can see, there are only ruins. But in the midst of this wilderness, we see a girl running, with a long-haired man chasing her. From this, it's clear that he is after her life, which is why she is running. For a while, the girl's luck seemed good, but a stone obstructed her path, causing her to fall. The man caught up to her, but when he saw her condition, he was shocked. There was a piece of wood lodged in her stomach, causing her immense pain. He immediately reported this to his boss, who ordered him to leave her and come back. The man began to leave, but the girl had courage. Perhaps something had happened to her that fueled her desire for revenge, and she faced death, and won. Gathering all her strength, she freed herself and attacked the man from behind, killing him. But how did all this happen? When did these events begin, and who was this girl? To find out, let's go back in time. A girl named Tasheen, along with her friend Kala, came to this island for a vacation. But they didn't know that some people had already taken notice of their beauty. They reported this to their boss, who was very impressed with Tasheen, and with Kala as well. Once approved, these people sent a macho man to them who said that her brother had a bar, and if they wanted, they could visit. There would be free drinks. But Tasheen refused, which ruined their plan A, so it was time for plan B. Unaware of all this, the two friends were enjoying their time, unaware that the coming days would be nothing short of a nightmare. After the sun set, they returned to their hotel. But the man followed them there as well. He informed one of the girls, named Wanai, that a straightforward plan was in place in which poor Tasheen would get trapped. In fact, they rang the bell of her room to lure her outside. As soon as she came out, she was kidnapped. When she didn't return for a long time, Kala went to check, and the same thing happened to her. The long-haired man put them in his truck and took them to Anderson's mansion, a huge and luxurious place. Beneath it was a hellish basement for girls, where countless girls were imprisoned, including the two friends. Shortly after, Tasheen was sent directly to Anderson's room, and the others were warned that if they screamed or tried anything clever, they would face unimaginable consequences. Terrified, they complied. Meanwhile, Wanai set his sights on another girl and kidnapped her under the guise of spending some good time. On the way, a police car stopped them, perhaps suspicious. When the trunk was checked, they found the girl unconscious. Knowing the police officer was alone and powerless, they killed him and forcibly took the girl to the basement, where she began to endure the same horrors as the other girls. Back with Tasheen, Anderson assaulted her, beating her while she was helpless because her hands and feet were tied. Meanwhile, in the basement, Kala spoke with the other girls, learning how they were all kidnapped. Their stories were identical. A man approached, talked to them, and they followed him. Something was slipped into their drinks, making them unconscious. Kala realized this was the work of a large criminal gang, as she had seen similar incidents before. Time passed. The parents of the girls began calling, worried about their missing daughters. The police became alert, possibly discovering the body of the slain officer, adding more suspense to the story. Meanwhile, Tasheen endured her suffering but did not give up. She began to trap Anderson using her charm, slowly loosening her restraints. Anderson thought she liked him and offered her wine. But Tasheen had a plan. She struck him with the wine bottle and escaped. The city police intensified their investigation, tracking the last known locations of the girls and finding evidence pointing to a single perpetrator. The girls in the basement started planning their escape. The man who had trapped most of the girls arrived, terrifying them, but they were determined. Kala and the other girls created a distraction by fighting each other, tricking the guard into opening the prison door, giving them a chance to escape. They grabbed tools and bottles of alcohol for defense. Running, Tasheen found a tool in a storeroom and attacked the man chasing her. The other girls broke through the wall and ran toward the barren desert, where a house stood. When Anderson checked the surveillance, he realized all the girls had escaped. He sent One Eye and the long-haired man after Tasheen and Kala. Knowing that only one could survive if they ran together, the girls split up. Tasheen was caught because she ran slowly, but she did not give up. She fought back, biting One Eye's finger and escaping. This enraged him. He chased her like a mad wolf. Meanwhile, Kala spotted a house while running, but it was locked. No one was inside, so she broke a window using stones placed outside. She jumped in and realized that this was no ordinary house. It looked like some kind of dinner setup. In fact, the man who had deceived all the girls had brought another girl here for a date and later handed her over to Anderson. But Kala needed help and wanted to get home by any means. She began searching the place and made a mistake. She opened a gate with a sensor. Anderson noticed her presence immediately through the camera and was thrilled, realizing she had walked straight into his trap. He quickly sent his 2 trusted men after her. Meanwhile, Tasheen found some ruins, thinking she might find something useful. She saw a beggar and thought of asking for help, but when the beggar opened his eyes, it seemed like a fairy had appeared from the heavens, granting all her wishes. Tasheen repeatedly asked for a phone, but he didn't have one. She asked for water, but when she drank it, it was actually urine. She vomited and ran away. Back with Kala, things were getting worse because both girls had now reached the house. But before the men could find her, Kala hid in a spot. She noticed a girl's nail polish and a camera. Realizing this place also belonged to the same people, she quickly picked up a knife and ran. When the men arrived, Kala used the opportunity to reach a car and tried to start it, but she didn't have the keys, making escape impossible. She hid nearby, and the men didn't notice her and left, so she was safe. She moved forward, worried about Tasheen, who couldn't survive much longer because the men were after her. Kala saw them chasing Tasheen and followed them. Tasheen ran into a cave for shelter but couldn't hide long. Someone spotted her and tried to assault her, but Kala arrived in time and slit the attacker's throat, killing him brutally. Tasheen now wanted revenge and attacked repeatedly, venting her anger. Both girls then exited the cave. Meanwhile, One Eye arrived. Seeing his friend killed, he flew into a rage and ran toward the girls with a gun. On the other hand, the police had a solid lead. Jut, the man who had kidnapped the girls, had called Tasheen's mother for ransom, revealing their location. But at this point, the girls' lives were still at risk because One Eye was nearby. Kala told Tasheen to move in a different direction to stay safe. But it wasn't enough. One Eye caught Tasheen. Hearing her screams, Kala rushed back to save her friend. Meanwhile, Anderson received a call, realizing something bad was about to happen because the police now had a lead. Shocked, he didn't understand how this was possible. The lead pointed to Jut, who was the reason behind all of this. Just as One Eye was about to kill Tasheen, Kala intervened. The 2 girls then ruthlessly attacked and killed him. Anderson then caught Jut, took him to the open desert, stripped him and forced him to run. When Jut reached a certain distance, Anderson shot him, thinking he had killed him. In reality, Jut was shot in the shoulder and managed to escape. Crossing a hill, Jut reached a car where he found Tasheen unconscious inside. He saw an opportunity to take her back to Anderson, so he returned with the car. But he forgot it was a trap. When he reached Anderson's base, the girls attacked him, rendering him unconscious. When he woke up, he was tied to a chair, facing all the girls he had assaulted. Tasheen took scissors and cut off his private parts as punishment. At that moment, the sound of the police helicopter arrived, signaling that help was here. The girls' lives were finally saved. Many had lost their lives, but thanks to these 2 girls, countless others survived.